All right, let's welcome in Aditya Shah, founder of Hercules Advisors, and Akshay P. Bhagwat, Senior VP, GM of Financial this afternoon.
Akshay, let me quickly have your take with regard to some of these banking counters doing very, very well in trade today. And Axis is up 4%, and IndusInd up 6.5%, and HDFC up 3.5%. How are some of these looking individually from a chart perspective?
So first of all, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, it's being completely a banking and financial services day, as I see on an intraday front. And if I were to time these stocks from here on, HDFC currently is trading at its resistance zone. If you recollect, the area of roughly around 1870, 1880 was tested way back somewhere in December, January time. And from there, you had a correction all the way till 1600. So somewhere or the other, these levels hold importance if you are trading it for as a BTST or for tomorrow, because we are trading at crucial resistance zones. So this is only for short-term traders. Otherwise, from a broader perspective, this stock is still strong. If I were to buy from a momentum perspective, I would look at ICICI Bank, where the broader chart structure is strong and the momentum has room for it to go all the way till 1375 on the upside. And Axis Bank is the second name from the private banking space, where also you can see a strong momentum uptake, or as a BTST candidate, where possible targets of 1335 odd levels can be in the making. So from a short-term momentum chasing perspective, Axis Bank and ICICI Bank fit the bill. HDFC Bank is trading at its resistance.
It's as if all the stars are aligning as far as Indian equity traders are concerned after a very, very bad bout. News on your screen right now about how we're expecting an above normal monsoon. That's a prediction, that's a forecast from the Met Department coming in, that India's 2025 monsoon rainfall will be seen above normal. So that's another bit of good news, I suppose, that you would look at. Let me come to you, Akshay, on what would be your top picks this afternoon.
Yeah, so from the private banking space, I'm closely tracking Federal Bank on an intraday perspective. It's been trading flat, but the broader short-term chart setup is clearly hinting that a support zone of 187, 189 is already cemented, and the stock is all setting up for a momentum leg up, which can see an upside possibly till 198 to 203. That's the short-term targets you can look forward to. Have a stop loss of 187 on this trading pick. The second one is PFC, Power Financial Corporation, clearly a momentum or a BTST counter, where it has staged strong, it has seen long additions on an intraday front, and the momentum has returned after almost 8 to 10 days of consolidation. So buy PFC from a short-term trading perspective, and here you can look for targets of 439 to 447 and trade this with a stop loss of 412.
Okay, PFC also on the radar. Akshay, I wonder if you've been tracking macro tech. I'm going to ask you, as well as IHCL. Both buzzing today, some fundamental reasons there, but then of course, macro tech following what real estate has been following, or the trend all through the day. The dispute resolution between the two brothers also helps. But view on macro tech?
Yeah, no, so absolutely today reality sector is also in limelight, and one of the best price charts here is macro tech. Intraday, yes, it is significantly up, but if you were to kind of buy and hold this from a slightly medium-term perspective at a time horizon of 3 months or time, clearly this price structure has seen a strong support developing at the levels of 1100, and now the stock is setting up for a strong momentum uptick. So I'm looking at targets of 1400 plus with a medium-term investment horizon. So buy and hold is what the advice is in macro tech developers.
Okay, so those stocks in focus as well. Some of them really flying in trade, right?
Ask you, Akshay, about any of the auto angs today, and we've got views through the day, but the way Samil has been responding today, even an amber end, some of it because of tariff pressures easing off, but also we've seen that with the Tata Motors as well. Are you liking any of these counters on the charts?
I think Amber Enterprises, if you're okay with giving this trade some time, probably around 2 to 3 months of holding will do more justice, because the stock is in kind of 6900 roughly is the broader range, but the longer term charts are really very strong, and it's just the short term fluctuations which can take you off the trade. So suggest that if you're holding this, I think the targets of 8000 plus should be in the making with a 3-month plus horizon. So buy and hold is the advice, and this is one of the best chart structure which I see in the auto ancillary pack.
Okay, let's get your BTST calls, Akshay, before we move forward.
So financial services is one space I'm keen on if you are chasing the momentum. So clearly PFC was one of the pick which I shared on your show. REC is the other name which you can look forward to. It is currently trading around 423, 424. So clearly a momentum counter. Sector is in the limelight, and the way the prices are setting up, 445, 450 should be in the making in the short-term space. An ideal BTST candidate, buy with a stop loss of 412 for targets of around 440.
Wonder what's happening with something like a Coromandel International. And Aditya, curious to know your view. Not sure if you track it or whether you do have a view, but seeing some spike on that counter from a fundamental perspective first. Aditya, any views?
I don't track the stock for long. We will know.
Okay, Akshay.
Yeah, so fertilizers pack are gaining traction today. If you look at Chambal, Coromandel, most of these names which have exposure in the futures and option segments are trading almost at its life highs. So clearly, these sectors have been undaunted by what is happening. The rough patch the markets have been one of the strongest resilient price structure as I see. And I think although overbought on the short-term price structure, the broader price structure is still strong. So buy and hold. The fertilizer pack still has more room on the upside from the current levels.
Aditya, I want to ask you about IndusInd Bank. Now,
Akshay, let me ask you a quick one with regard to an Intellect Design. That's the other one which is perked up in trade, 14% up. No fundamental or technical reason per se, but do you have a view on this one?
Well, for Intellect Design, it's major upsides for intraday trader. But if you were to kind of take this as a BTST trade or micro time it is currently trading at its resistance of 750 to 755. So that's a zone where it might be vulnerable to temporary profit booking. So I would suggest that let it cool off a bit. Ideally, levels of 745 would make it again lucrative buy from a short-term trading perspective. Overall, the prices are setting up for levels of 800 to 810, but suggest to wait for dips of 740, 45 for re-entry on the buy side from a risk-reward perspective.
Just want to pull up the IREDA stock very quickly. Their numbers are due today. In fact, it was look at that spike coming in last few minutes. Numbers were due actually middle of the day, but seems it will now come post-market. Akshay, IREDA, a good place to build a position. Last few minutes of trade left, and IREDA will report post-market in all likelihood.
Well, yes, in all likelihood, probably 178 is where the stock should be heading for from a short-term trading perspective. 149 is the support base, so it's more of a bottom fishing candidate. But if you're ready to take on the risks of the results, then 175 to 180 is where you can possibly look from a result perspective.
A minute from close. Thank you so much, both of you gentlemen, for coming in, giving us all of those views and perspectives. We'll let you go on that note.